that's big business. Hit 10, but that's big pimpin'. My potential, that's infinite. Pin game insane. Make hits like King Griffin, a 10th inning.
Welcome to episode 4 of the 10th Inning Podcast. As always, I'm Sean Meyer. He's Dan Vario. That's Clayton Kershaw. And I got another guest right here. I don't know if you can see us, but Darren Ruff.
Darren Ruff makes it to the show today. There we go. I like it.
What a guy. He's persistence personified, you know?
Amen. Amen.
Great role model. Great role model. All right.
Speaking of persistence, I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to cut you off for a hot second.
Go for it.
I have a docu-series coming out. Okay. It's called The Last Dot, about my grandmother playing left, right, center. And the title of that is Dominance Turned Persistence. It's a beautiful, heartfelt story. There's 10 personal interviews with some of the greatest left, right, center players of all time, culminating in one last video of the game footage of The Last Dot. But I'm just wanted to promote that a little bit here.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna give a little and I'll put right now you're gonna see the cover of that. But I'm sorry, a little shout out.
No worries. That's very important stuff, and I can't wait to see that myself.
Mm-hmm.
But since we last met, the NLCS and both ALCS played their games. Games 4 and games 5.
Mm-hmm.
Any particular preference, Dan, here? Or which series you want to dive into first?
Let's go AL first for shits and gigs.
All right. Well, when we last met, you said since the Red Sox won, was it 12-3 or whatever the score was, you then switched over to the Astros. You know, some might think you were crazy for doing that. Others, think you're a genius because, well, the Astros have turned around and won the last 2 games pretty handily over the Red Sox and take it back to Houston for games 6 and 7 if it needs to go that far.
Right.
The Red Sox went from controlling the series to now on the brink, and ever since Eduardo Rodriguez did his little time thing, they haven't done too well.
Yeah.
So maybe you were right on this one, Dan. What do you think of these past 2 games, games 4 and 5?
I think if you're gonna beat the Astros, beat them by small margins. Because they're very sensitive people. And you got to know who you're dealing with. Some people play better when they're mad. Some people play worse when they're mad. The Astros have always played better when they're mad.
Yeah.
And it's not just me who was right. Although, listen, I was right here. But I want to shout out some people that were performing in Game 4. We'll talk about Michael Brantley. Okay, 2 for 5, 3 RBIs, most RBIs on the team. I remember someone saying top 5 pure hitter in the league. I remember another person saying Michael Brantley hasn't even got it going yet. He's going to turn it around. He's too good not to perform. There you go, Mr. Sean Meyer over there. Okay, and then if we go to obviously last night's Game 5, Brantley 2 for 5 again, and Yordan 3 for 5. The guy I thought was going to be the hero of the series, and he kind of is because Yordan.
He has been.
Yordan is. I can't say it. I can't say top 5 pure hitter. But Yordan is one of the best hitters in the major leagues. I don't know if he's pure, but he's pure.
He started off a little slow in the series, but he's making up for that right now.
Yeah. So and Keek has kind of cooled off. And like I said, if Keek stops hitting, that's unfortunately the Red Sox offense has turned to Keek, and Keek just went 0 for 4 and 1 for 4, and that's kind of just 0 for 4 and 1 for 5. And the Red Sox don't score more than 2 runs. So that's kind of unfortunately what happens. Devers and Bogey can't carry a team. You need every team needs that one guy that you don't traditionally expect to do well.
Yeah.
And Keek has cooled off. But I look for Keek with his back against the wall now. You're gonna like this. Astros come back and win 2 games, shutting Keek down. Keek's like an Astro. Keek's hitting it minimum 2 home runs tonight. Okay, the Astros are going to win Game 6.
That is a prediction right there.
Handily, but Keek's going to strike out his last at bat, but it's not going to matter. But he's going to remember that.
Yeah.
So we're going into Game 7 with Keek and the Astros both angry, and it's going to be just Red Sox in 7. Keek hits a walk-off with flipping it again. I couldn't tell you. I think they pissed off Keek. I think they pissed Keek.
Wow. This
Yeah.
is just a series of who gets pissed off the most.
That's how I'm feeling. That's the least. Probably this is a baseball podcast. That might be the least and most baseball analytical thing you've ever heard in your life.
I respect it. To piggyback what you said off of your Don, I mean, the Astros are more than just Altuve and Correa.
100%.
They're flashiest names, but they got some players. And they got Dusty behind the bench, with that toothpick in his ear. I mean, he's just iconic. Did you see who the Astros and Red Sox have going for tonight?
I didn't. I can check real quick. It is Evaldi and Garcia.
Okay. Big game Nate. I wouldn't be surprised if the Red Sox do pull this one out. Ultimately, I picked the Red Sox from before the series, so I'm going to stick with it. But I think the Astros are going to win it. But I don't know. Nate Evaldi, he's proven he can pitch in the postseason in a big moment. So no better pitcher going for the Red Sox than him.
No. Yeah. Knowing the pitching matchup now really makes me think it's going to be Red Sox to win this game. Like you said, like I said, I think Game 7 is going to be a crapshoot, depending on how many homers Keek hits tonight. I'll tell you, if Keek hits more than 2 homers, he might be calmed down enough, and the Astros might win the series.
Yeah.
But if Keek hits, less than 2 homers, he might be angry enough to win the series. It's all about Keek's performance tonight.
It is. I agree. He's the heartbeat of the Red Sox.
That's it.
He really is. He's the grit, the soul.
Yeah.
They go by how he does. So as crazy as some people might think what you're saying is, there's some truth to it. So got any final notes for this series, or do you want to move on to the Dodgers and the Braves?
The only final note I'll say is, on a more baseball real note, I think the Astros have done a really good job at responding. Obviously, it's not easy. But just because I said they got angry, it's not easy for a team to get blown out that many times and then go and win 9-1, 9-2.
Yeah,
I mean that is just the mental is crazy. Again, I'll harken back to our playing days. There's been days, we've been blown out, and the next game, like in a doubleheader, you're not interested. You know what I mean?
No.
It's just
we got another one.
But they have a lot of mental fortitude over there, and that goes a very long way in the playoffs. So I congratulate them for that. I want to see what Red Sox mental fortitude is now. They're going to be challenged, and we'll see how they respond.
We got Alex Cora, who, if there's anybody who can get his team in the right mental headspace, then that's him. But I believe I can't remember who was saying this. One of the big network analysts was saying that there's something about, since the whole cheating scandal in Houston, there's something about going to Houston that gets in players and teams' head.
Yeah.
So even if they're not cheating, because the Astros are really good home field advantage, even after the whole cheating scandal.
Yeah.
So I think that when teams play there, in quotations, teams play there, kind of gets in their head like, oh, they've gotten a couple runs in the first inning. What are they doing? You know what I mean? They kind of psych themselves out. And, well, this cheating thing is carried over from one year inadvertently to the next, 3 or 4 or whatever it's been.
Yeah.
But Houston's not an easy place to play. It's got, indoor stadium, so the noise stays in there.
Yeah.
And they got a short porch in left field. It's not an easy place to play. But the Red Sox are going to have to, as you said before, a little buzzword, see what kind of mental fortitude they have. So
we'll see. I'm excited that the last game of this series is going to be extremely exciting.
Absolutely. All right, so let's swing it on over to the Dodgers and the Braves. So when we last spoke, the Braves were up in the series 2-0.
Missed the 6-5 Dodger win?
Yeah.
Because last episode I was bragging about Cody being the unsung hero.
Yeah.
You're telling me I bragged about that before he hit the 3-run homer?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Sean. Oh, you're not gonna believe what you hear today. Then I'm gonna have to go nutty. You're telling me I bragged about it before he went yick?
You did.
Oh, it's too easy. And Chris hit 3 last night. Oh, all right. Oh,
Yeah.
You're
And
right.
boy, game 3. What a game. Looks like the Braves had it in the bag. I'm about to go up 3-0. Then good old Cody Ballinger, who, as we keep saying, had a very rough regular season, but the postseason has been a whole different player. And I believe you had some sort of, inkling or, notion that he was going to pull off something big.
I did.
What was that exactly?
Sean, I think I bragged about Cody a couple episodes too early now with the unsung hero. I guess I can't say unsung hero anymore because now he's just the hero.
Yeah.
It's when you watch a baseball game, you can just tell. You can tell when somebody's hitterish, okay, when somebody is playing right now. And Cody's been swinging the bat. He's been lining into a lot of outs. I'm so happy for him. I mean, I'm happy for myself. You can't imagine what I was doing in that moment. But that pitch was up here, up at his eyes.
It was.
Just got the bat around to it. I think Ron Darling really hit it on the head. I think he's been swinging long. And lefties, sometimes they can get into that long, loopy swing. And Cody will do that. But when he shortens up and kind of a high and in pitch forces you to shorten up, you can't be long. When he just puts bats on the ball, he's a strong kid and he's got a beautiful swing. But so it works out. But I'm beyond happy with Cody. Clearly, unsung hero doesn't apply anymore. But listen, I'll just keep bragging about things that I get right. Stop eventually. So I gotta be happy.
Yeah, use it while you can.
Right.
But that home run was huge. And then after that, Mookie Betts. Yeah. Down 5-2 in the 8th inning. I don't know the percentage chance you're going to win that game, but it can't be high. And then to come back and win that game, if they lose that game, it's 3-0. It's likely the series is over. If they win that game. I was like, whoa. But talking about mental fortitude, the Braves came around in the next game and then won that, which, it seems like baseball, this postseason, momentum has not carried from game to game. No. It has been, one game and then the next game can be totally different.
Right.
The Braves, as far as game 4 goes, Eddie Rosario, what a trade that was. Jeez. They traded for him, Duvall, Soler. There's another guy I can't think of at the moment. Either way, they made some somewhat under the radar trades that I liked at the time that have paid huge dividends.
I'm going to eventually pull up Twitter. Eddie Rosario was one of the only signings I tweeted about non-Dodgers because I thought it was an amazing signing, So I mean, he's going off now, so I kind of just need to hype myself up a little bit more. Yeah. But I remember when Eddie got signed, I was like, how do they just sign him for that little amount? He got signed. Eddie's been a good player for 3 or 4 years minimum.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I forget what the contract is. I'll pull it up on Twitter, but I mean, just pennies on the dollar. It was insane. But he's been going off. I mean, he's another guy. He just hits. He puts bat to the ball, and you can tell when he's at the plate, he's not nervous. He's not scared. The moment's not too big for him, and he's like Babe Ruth right now. I mean, he's going insane.
He just needed a double for the cycle in that game, but he had a home run instead. His second of the game.
I know, it's crazy.
I was not expecting the Braves to put on a performance quite like that. After that, the way they lost game 3 was just demoralizing. You can't put it any other way. 5-2, Cody Ballinger hits a bomb.
Right.
But, props to them for getting that win. But once again, the momentum did not carry over because the Dodgers last night in game 5 absolutely destroyed the Braves in every facet of the game. Pitching, hitting. Freddie Freeman had a 2-run home run in the first inning, which usually is a good sign for the team hitting that home run. But that was it. That was all their offense had. And Chris Taylor, Chrissy T, not to steal your name for him, but
I wanted 4 for Chrissy.
What a what a game for them. They're down 3-1 going into that game. But at the same time, it's like last year they were down 3-1 and they won the series to the same team. So there's something to fall back on.
Yeah, Atlanta's got to be almost a little nervous they're up 3-1 right now.
Yeah.
Just because they're thinking like, oh no, like it starts creeping in your mind like, oh, this can't happen again. We can't let this happen again. We just got to get the one win. And then you start pressing.
Yeah.
But I mean, last night was just so huge for the Dodgers to come out. We needed a win where it was like we won the game. You know,
Yeah.
we destroyed you. There's nothing, you know, there's nothing in between. And thank God that happened. But yeah, Chris ET went off. But again, we won despite Dave. Let's just be clear here. I've never seen worse managing. This is getting off the rails. When we won, but let's not look at the win. Dave.
Yeah.
First off, why are we down 2-0? Because Joseph Kelly's starting the game. I get it.
Used to be a starter. Used to be a starter though.
Okay. You know
like
what?
10 years ago.
Yeah, the bullpen game, I get it. Kelly's a 7th-inning guy. At this point in his career, I'd rather someone else start the game. Have Tony start the game. You don't really care how many times you use an arm. So have anyone else start the game, I feel like, other than Kenley and Blake. Even Bruce Starr. At this point, he's been going in the second all year. So why don't we just throw Bruce Starr out there? But it is what it is. And then, I'm sorry. It's just all flushing back to me now.
Yeah. No,
then we throw Bruce Starr out there. I like it. Quick first inning. Throw him out there for 2. We need the arms today. Fine. That's perfectly fine. Now we're considering Bruce Starr for a 1-inning reliever for 3 straight innings because he's kept his pitch count low. But that's not the only thing that goes into it. As you know, when they sit on the bench, especially because in between the second and third inning, there was a longer wait time because Pujols ended up drawing the walk. And then who hit? Who was Chris? I'm sure. Chris hit a homer. But then we have Bruce Starr go up to hit.
Yeah.
So we're committing. Okay, Bruce Starr's going 3. I'm fine with it. At this point, because of our shortage of arms, we only have Blake and Kenley left to go pretty much.
Yeah.
You don't know if Blake's going to be efficient. He might not be able to get 2 innings. Let's let Bruce Starr go 3, whatever. He gets up to the plate, looks menacing. Menacing as always.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have Cody steal second. With a strike on Bruce Starr already, and he wasn't even looking like he was swinging. So now we're risking our hottest hitter, other than Chris E.T., to get injured in hopes that Bruce Starr hits a single. That's the only reason you would steal second base there. We're assuming Bruce Starr's going to hit a reliever.
Yeah.
0 for 2 on the year. Bruce Starr strikes out.
Not shockingly.
I go to the bathroom. I come back. Blake Trinan's on the mound. If we would have lost the game by a run, that means we moved a man into scoring position, risking health, and then used a pitcher when we had bench bats. And Dave loves running through the bench bats. We've talked about it.
Yeah.
You didn't use a bench bat. Now Blake Trinan's out there, is not efficient in his first inning and doesn't look good. But now he has to go a second inning. And if Blake Trinan gets blown up in the second inning because he wasn't efficient, has pitched almost every freaking day, and doesn't look good tonight, now we're screwed. And Kenley's got to – I mean, you saw it. It's just the worst, just bad decision-making. You can't allow a pitcher to hit and then not have them pitch 30 seconds later. What conversation did you have? Like, what could have happened?
I have no idea.
It doesn't
make no sense.
And in the earlier in the game, when we don't have the lead, the biggest offensive situation, first and third, we're going to bring up our first pinch hitter. Who we pinch hit him? You know who it was?
I forget.
Andy Burns. You know who Andy Burns is?
Nope.
No, I don't. I love the dog. I don't know who Andy Burns is. Andy Burns had 11 at-bats this year in the major leagues. He batted 176. He's 31 years old. He has no future. Andy Burns, I'm sorry for you and your family. Okay? You made it to the major leagues, something I could only dream of doing. But you're 31, having 11 at-bats this year on a championship team. You cannot be put in as the first pinch hitter off the bench in a huge offensive spot. I don't know. I'm sorry for the rant. It just makes no sense.
No, it seems like, Don Mattingly always had his head-scratching decisions. But Dave Roberts, for a few years, seemed to be avoiding that. Now it's just coming right back full circle,
Head scratchers. it's not even like bad decisions. It's like decisions you didn't know were possible. You know what I mean? It's like decisions you couldn't even dream of making these kind of decisions.
Yeah.
But how did you feel about the game? I'm sorry, I went crazy.
No, when the Braves went up 2-0, personally,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think I didn't want to say it's over, but I was like, all right, this.
I said it was over. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but the Dodgers, they honestly, I feel like their offense still isn't clicking fully,
No,
which is crazy to say to me when they put up 9 runs last night?
11.
11 runs. Sorry. I mean, it's crazy to say that, and they're if they only had starting pitching or Dave putting starters to start, I think they'd be up in the series 3-1 or 3-2.
Yeah.
I just don't think that Dave is, not to jump all over Dave Roberts here, but I agree with what you're saying. I don't think he's putting him in the best position to win.
No.
But the Dodgers though. I picked them to win the series. I still think they're going to win the series.
Wow. Okay.
We got to remember we're talking about Atlanta sports here. They are not known for holding on to leads very well.
No, they're not.
I don't know. It's something about the Dodgers. Maybe it's, as soon as you win a championship, you kind of get this aura around you where it's like, oh, everything's going to be okay, but
right.
I'm very curious to see what happens tonight, or sorry, tomorrow night.
As am I. And I just want to
day off day.
Yeah, no, I want to see how the off day does. And do you think them playing in Atlanta is going to do anything? Or you're still picking the Dodgers to win too? So
I still think, it definitely does hurt the chances of the Dodgers isn't there in Atlanta for the last 2, but I still think they can overcome that. They've played in some hostile environments. They played at Fenway a few years ago. They played it in Houston, albeit they didn't necessarily win those series, but they have played in environments that are, hostile towards them, and I think they can handle it. Obviously, the biggest thing of baseball is you get, last licks, the home team, and that's, you undeniably a huge advantage.
Right.
But I think the Dodgers can pull this one out. Believe it, crazy enough to say, I think they can.
Yeah, I hope you're right. Is all I'm going to say. I really hope you're right. I want to jump back to Game 4 for a hot second and just give my experience. I was working. UNC versus Loyola, a soccer game. I'm on the field. Okay. I can't check.
You're on
my
TV,
phone.
weren't you?
I'm on TV, ACC network.
Absolutely.
Every almost 3 nights a week, you check the ACC network. I'll be there. You just look for me. So I check my phone like for the first time I get a shot because I'm on TV first off, so I can't.
Got to perform.
You got to perform. You can't be looking at your phone. Sets a bad look. So I go,
Absolutely.
Dodgers score. I swear to you, it says 5-2. Bottom of the 8th, or top of the 8th. I'm like, fuck. We lost. Like it's 3-0. It's over. I can't even believe it. I'm just so upset, but I can't do anything about it. Maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes later, Dodgers score. 6-5, bottom of the 8th. I'm like, what's going on? I lost my mind, Sean. I lost my mind. Literally, it was like 10 minutes, and it was 6-5, and I was going nuts. And I said, you know what? Phone in the pocket. I'm not checking again. I have YouTube TV, so when I got home, I skipped. I watched some like key plays, like YouTube TV does, till the 7th, and then from the top of the 8th through the bottom of the 9th, I just watched. So I watched it live for myself, but I didn't know if the Dodgers had won yet, because 6-5. What does that mean? The Braves have came back every time we come back. So So I was my heart was pumping just as much in the 9th inning when I got home, but it was. I mean, what an amazing win! When your back's against the wall, you're about to go down 3-0.
Yeah.
For Cody to hit that homer, oh my God! I'm sorry, I'm fanning out now, but
let it out.
I gotta let it out a little bit. What are you looking to in this series? You thinking the Dodgers are going to win too?
I am. I think.
Is it because of pitching?
I think that Max Scherzer and Walker Buehler are gonna I mean, I'm assuming Bueller's going to start. I hope that he will. I think they're actually going to,
Corey.
perform well. Sure. What was that?
Corey. Knable.
Oh.
Knable's
Yeah.
Both games. Corey.
Yeah. And he's gonna come out. They're gonna put him in the outfield so he can close the game later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Scherzer's had a bit of a rough postseason. I think he's gonna show out.
Yeah.
He hasn't been brutal. He hasn't been bad. He just hasn't been himself, which is a high standard to set. But he hasn't been great. Walker Buehler's been decent. He's had his moments. Pants are still fantastic, by the way. I think those guys will, show up and show out as long as Dave Roberts lets them. Which is an issue.
Roberts lets them. Yeah, I mean, Buehler didn't look great in his last start. He didn't give us as many innings as we needed him to as our ace. But in the same breath, for Scherzer at least, Scherzer hasn't been put in the position to succeed. Like you said earlier, when you have a team of 15 All-Stars, all you have to do is start your starters, relieve your relievers, play them in their roles, and play your position players at their primary position and hit them in the lineup at their regular lineup spots. And you'll look like a great manager. Unfortunately, Dave Roberts is playing Gavin Lux in center. Okay. Hitting Chris Taylor and Cody Ballinger, our two hottest hitters, 7 and 8. Yep. Starting our relievers, relieving our starters, and switching everybody's roles daily. So the fact that he's all 5 pillars are just awful. The fact that we are winning is God bless it. Just as quick shout out, Trey Turner sucks. Okay, not a nice shout out. I don't like him in the playoffs. I am so upset. I love Trey Turner as a player. I have him on my fantasy team, dynasty team.
Yeah,
top 15 player in the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Some people are playoff people. Some people aren't. Something we've discussed 100 times. Trey Turner is not someone who's going to hit the playoffs. He doesn't have it. He looks almost uninterested. He's like so nervous. He's uninterested. He swings and misses strike 3 in the dirt. He jogs to first. I'm like, you have 27.5 mile per hour speed here. What are we doing now? Yeah. I've never seen someone ground into more double plays in my friggin' life.
At that speed too.
He's not affecting the game whatsoever. And I'm not happy with him being the Dodgers shortstop moving forward in place of Seager. That's my opinion. That's all I got to say. Turner, for the amount of money we spent on him, has not performed. Not money, but the amount of capital, draft capital, assets we spent on him has not performed, and I'm a little bit upset by that.
Yeah, I agree. He hasn't done that well, to put it bluntly. Another guy I have a question for you about, because you've seen him more often, is Gavin Lux. I get the sense he's kind of still trying to find himself in the majors. Obviously, he had that rough drop the other day, which was partially the sun getting in his eyes, but which opened up the whole big inning for the Braves.
Partially, he's a second baseman as well.
Exactly. He's playing center field, which is, usually the center field and shortstop are your best defenders,
Mm-hmm. That's why we put our first baseman out in center for a defensive replacement.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I just feel like I've heard about Gavin Lux for so many years, but he still hasn't claimed a starting spot. Maybe that's because they have talent in front of him, which they do. But I feel like he's kind of been, I don't want to say, I may be jumping way off the wagon here, but you're kind of, is it like a Clint Frazier type thing? Obviously, Clint Frazier is very extreme. Mm-hmm. But Gavin Lux, I feel like, has been a guy you've heard about for a while who just still hasn't quite stuck,
This is, you hit the head on the nail. Nail on the head. This is Clint Frazier. The Dodgers actually popularized this for the Yankees. The Dodgers have just done it traditionally with pitchers. Yeah. Julio's been in the league for literally, I believe, 5 years. He came up in 2016. Okay. He has been an ace starting pitcher for probably 4 years. This was his first full year. He went 20-3 with a sub-3. Okay. This is what the Dodgers do. The Dodgers wouldn't let Julio start for 4 years straight. Yeah. They constantly do this with their players. With pitchers, sometimes it works because they get them work.
Yeah.
And with pitchers, at least you're saving their arm because it's a ticking time bomb for a pitcher. They only have so many bullets. So it works to a degree. But again, it's mental fortitude. There's been pitchers that have came up and not worked because we wouldn't allow them to do it. And if you're not mentally strong enough to know, like, no, I'm good, like they're just not utilizing me right, it could screw your whole career. Thankfully, it hasn't happened with. It could happen with May. May's a bona fide starter.
Yeah.
Tony Gonsolin's a bona fide starter, by the way. These are all starting pitchers on any other team. David Price, for God's sakes, the poor guy's pitched 4 innings this year. I mean, Kenta Maeda was a bona fide starter. Hyun-Jin Ryu was a bona fide starter. They almost won Cy Young somewhere else. Hyun-Jin Ryu didn't start with the Dodgers until his last season. He started 1 year, like really early in his career, struggled a little bit, straight demotion to the bullpen. I mean, the fact that he was able to stay with the mental to be like, okay, I'm good enough, and then go somewhere else, have a good last year with the Dodgers, obviously. They do that. Now you're seeing it with Gavin Lux. Yes, there were people in front of him, but we got rid of a lot of people that were in front of him. Decided specifically not to trade him. Basically, we're giving him 2 stories. One, we're not trading you. We're dedicated to you. We want you to be our second baseman of the future.
Yeah.
And yet, they won't play him. They will not play him there. It makes no sense. We go and get Trey Turner. You have Gavin Lux. Gavin Lux is fine. Yeah. He has also struggled, and he seems like a mental player, and he's not handling it well. He needs to get the hell out of LA. It is affecting his offense. It affects his defense. I think he's going to be a really, really great player in the league. But no, it's Clint Frazier all day. They're completely destroying the kid's mind. They're throwing him out in center field in elimination games. I mean, it's like, what's the kid supposed to do? It's terrible. It really is. He's got no identity. He doesn't know whether he's a starter, a bench player, if he's hitting leadoff, if he's hitting ninth, if he's playing center field for the first time in his friggin' life, or he's playing second base. So awful.
I was just curious, because you've seen the Dodgers play all the time, but it's just someone I've heard the name a lot of times. I know he has a lot of talent, but
I mean, they're very much like the Rays, where they'll just put you anywhere. Mookie played like 75 innings at second base this year.
Really? I didn't realize that.
Everyone has played second base this year. Chris Taylor played third last night. It's the only position Chris Taylor doesn't play. Chris Taylor plays shortstop, but when he came to the Dodgers, he played short and second. Yeah. Then we moved him to the outfield. Now he's comfortable in left. See, there's a difference with a guy who can adapt. Chris Taylor adapts. Good left fielder. Chris Taylor's played innings in center. He's played innings in right this year. He's only not played first, third, and catcher. Let's throw him at third. It's insanity. It really, because Cody's playing center field. Who, let me tell you, great center fielder.
Absolutely,
but he came up as a first baseman. These are the kind of things that it's like. You have to be a certain type of player for it to work, and I don't think Gavin Lux is that kind of player.
Yeah, there's no knock on Gavin Lux. It's just some people are built that way, and some people aren't.
Exactly.
Especially if he's been a second baseman his whole career, like his whole life growing up. It's a lot to change from that. But I guess when you're the Dodgers, you always have these young studs come up anyway. So if you miss on one or two, what's the big deal? I mean, you had Verdugo, you traded him, mostly for Mookie. It's a good farm system can get you a long way.
Certainly can.
Yeah. All right. So I saw, to go off a little bit from the playoffs, there hasn't been a lot of regular baseball moves or news to report. I saw this report because Mets fan and all. Andy Martino, reporter for SNY, reported that there's a chance, of course, that the Mets and Javier Baez work out a deal relatively soon before free agency opens up. Now, I hope that this deal, potential deal, is not very long term, and if it is, or if it is an actual contract, I hope it's like a 1 year with an opt out after every year type thing, kind of like they did for Yoenis Cespedes back in the day. Because Javier Baez, he is, he's hit or miss in his playing style. His offense, literally hit or miss. He'd strike out or hit a home run. But yeah, I saw that, and off season's off to a great start.
I feel like I've heard from Mets fans. They want Javi. I've heard from the Mets community, a lot of people no, like I hope we re-sign Javi. And just as a
Yeah.
baseball fan, I don't understand. It sounds like you guys just like the pain. I don't like Javi. I think whatever Javi gets, he's going to be overpaid because he still has the brand name,
Yeah.
logo on the back of his neck. Javi
Yeah.
Baez, flashy Javi, MVP type Javi, but that's not Javier Baez to me. Javier Baez is a head case who can make crazy defensive mistakes, but also make crazy defensive, web gems, but also is not like an offensive guy that like I'm excited about. Like that's not the kind of baseball player I want on the Mets. He's gonna strike out 220 times probably. And if he doesn't hit homers, like last 2 years he wasn't even good at anything. It was just miss. In the first couple of weeks with the Mets, I believe it was just miss, right? I mean, he got hot a little bit at the end. But
He finished
not signing Javi long term.
He finished with over I think it was 830 or 860 OPS with the Mets.
Okay.
But it's ironic. It's weird because he had the whole thumbs down gate with the fans, and at that point, they're like, all the fans are like, no, we don't want him. Get out of here. And he played well after that.
Yeah.
And a lot of Mets fans want him back. See, if they sign him to like a 1-year deal, prove it, I'm okay with that. But if it's like a 5-6 year long-term deal, we already are paying Lindor for another 10 years. So I don't know how that's going to play out. I mean, it's not my money, but I want someone to put some home play. I would love if the Mets signed Corey Seager. I really would, but I don't know. I just don't think that's the best way to spend your money.
No. I don't know what the Mets need. The Mets need
a lot.
They need something. Yeah, they need a lot. They need a lot of something. They need Kike Hernandez.
Yeah, too bad he's under contract for another year.
I know. He better make 30
players?
coming out.
Any of the Dodgers players are going to let go that the Mets can pick up?
Chris Taylor, maybe.
Oh, okay. All right, Chris.
There's a shot. I would lose my mind if they let Chris Taylor walk at this point.
Yeah.
But they did it with Keek. He's the only like versatile guy we have like that now. But there's a shot. There's a shot he goes to free agency. Yeah.
Now earlier you said you had a tweet lined up about Eddie Rosario.
Yeah,
I was want to share that with us.
Yes, I do have a tweet. I finally pulled it up. I will do a little screen share. What the hell's going on there? Oh, here it is. Okay. How in the world did the Indians get Eddie Rosario for 1 year, $8 million? Am I off on this? Is this not an absolute steal? He's under 30 with solid defense and 30-plus homer pop. Why is he not getting 4 or 5 for 15 per? Ronies? Question mark. Questioning if it was because of Corona. That happened. But yeah, Eddie's a stud. I mean, I lost that tweet. I couldn't find it because it was just in the mix of all the Dodger stuff that I showed you guys the other day. You might have actually seen it when I was showing you that. But yeah, I mean, this guy's a stud. He's always been a stud. I was surprised the Twins didn't want him back to begin with.
Yeah, why wouldn't the Twins want him back? They struggled this year.
Yeah, and like I said, he was under 30 at the time. And he's just great defender, good speed, 30-plus homer pop. Like it's not a shock that he's doing well right now. He's a great player.
No,
he
is.
Yeah, and I guess I hadn't made the connection. He was traded to the Braves. I don't know who he was traded for.
I don't think the Braves gave up much for any of those guys.
MLB needs to stop sleeping on Eddie Rosario. Is what I'm getting from this.
Yeah,
let's wake up, folks. Eddie Rosario's a star in the league. Not like
free agent this offseason
type star, but like he's a star. He's that second tier for sure.
He's got speed.
Yeah.
He has pop. Good defender, right? I mean,
he checks most of the boxes. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not going to win MVP for you, but he could be easily your second or third best player on the team.
Well, he'll move the needle. He'll give you, a few more wins every year, which is huge.
Yeah. That's the tweet. I appreciate you bringing that up.
Of course. I mean, this goes to show you that sometimes even the smaller deals at the deadline can make huge differences.
And they needed that after the loss of Acuna and Ozuna. That's a big pickup to have. He replaces Ozuna easily. and then they're missing Acuna. But we'll see how that how that pans out. If they had Acuna in this series, that would have been interesting. That would have been real interesting.
I really like what the Braves did. Acuna goes down, they can say, all right, this isn't our year, because it was right around the deadline time, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But they said, no, we're going to go for it, and they made those trades for those guys. And at the time, I liked it. I was like, wow, this is good.
Yeah.
And it paid off for them because they won the division, and now they're, one win away from the World Series.
Oh.
So, it doesn't always have to be splashy. If your scouting department or who else can, identify a player that can fit, a need in your team.
Yeah.
They don't have to be great. They just got to do their job, and they'll help a lot. Like Jorge Soler, he was on the Royals, and you never heard about him, but he had some very productive years for the Royals.
Yeah.
And obviously he has COVID, so he's not on the LCS roster, but I don't know. The Braves, I think they did a very good job.
Yeah, if they make the World Series, it'll be interesting to see him coming back for the World Series. If the Dodgers make the World Series, it'll be interesting to see if we get Max Muncy and Justin Turner back.
Yeah,
which could really help the offense a little bit.
we kind of missed the Turner thing, but it didn't look good. Albert Pujols had to practically carry him down the tunnel to get to the locker room. It's not. That one was it a quad or a hamstring?
I don't remember what they said, but it was something in the leg. Yeah, I don't remember.
Those things can seem to take a little while to heal because you come back too early, you can tear it, and it's just.
Yeah. Hopefully we get Max at least.
Yeah. I'm surprised he hasn't come back yet. I didn't think his injury was that severe.
No, they were saying he'll miss the wild card game, maybe the division series. I was surprised he wasn't in the LCS. Yeah. And really what we're missing is Edwin Rios too, another stud that went down earlier, which is our young third base / first base. Played some outfield this year for shits and gigs. Prospect.
Of course he did.
I'll tell you, the last guy you want to see in the outfield, Edwin Rios. He's not an outfielder, but Dave doesn't get it. Yeah, we're missing him, sadly, because he was a great bench bat as well.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how these games go. We got the Astros Red Sox tonight, game 6. And then tomorrow night, we've got the Dodgers and the Braves, game 6, back in Houston. Atlanta. Houston for the Astros, Atlanta for the Braves. There we go.
Who's the World Series winner?
My World Series winner. Out of the 4 teams left, I don't know. I feel like my brain wants to tell me the Astros.
I don't like your brain.
I don't either. I'm going to go with the Dodgers. I think it's going to be Dodgers-Astros. It's going to be, there we go, a rematch of the 2017 World Series?
Yeah. If it's Dodgers-Astros, folks, I'll be doing a podcast live from either Houston or LA.
Yeah.
If it's Dodgers-Astros, it's going to be, there goes my liquid funds. I mean, I have to go see that. I just can't not, especially, I have to. Dodgers-Astros rematch, no cheating this time.
We hope.
I'll be there. I'll be there. That's an exciting series. But you're going Dodgers there? You said?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a National League guy,
Yeah, you got to be. I think the Braves win the World Series.
Really? Wow.
No, I
would
don't.
Be something.
I just think the Braves win this series. I don't think the Dodgers come back from 3-1 2 years in a row. I think the Braves win this series. I feel like, but I can't. I can't say that the Astros or Red Sox win a series, so I have to pick the Braves. I can't physically. It won't come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the NL wins.
Yeah, whoever comes out of the NL, I'm rooting for them. I think they'll win.
That's it.
Totally unbiased.
Totally. No, there's no bias.
I think the Astros pull out that series, though, but we'll see what happens.
That's all I got for you today, Shawnee.
Yeah. Same here. It was a good show today, Nice to see Kirsch and Darren making their appearances,
Jolly good show.
Yeah.
Guys,
absolutely.
I'm gonna leave the links right now. Again, I'll keep saying links, you know what I mean. To our Instagram and our podcast. our YouTube podcast, and I'm gonna do a third right again here of my personal YouTube channel where you can find the last dot. Little plug, Sean. If you have anything else to plug or mention, otherwise send us out.
I don't have anything. I'm not as popular as you, I guess.
I'm not popular, guys. Don't worry.